Hey guys, welcome to Mikey Reacts once again, and we are reacting to another pro to a YouTuber or gun tuber called Brandon Herrera. I've done a video of his before where he crashed an NRA protest, and today we are reacting to the video from 4 months ago of him testifying against the ATF. I want to see what he testified. I want to see what his testimony was. I want to see what it was about. So let's get to it in just a second. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a small channel, so every subscription, every like, every comment and suggestion down below in the comment section helps grow this channel, and I'm so appreciative of your support. Don't forget also to check out my new channel that details mine and my fiance's move over to the United States step by step. The link's down below in the description, and also if you want to hear my thoughts more on the Second Amendment, check out my Patreon. Link is down below in the description. It's just $5 per month. We've got a nice little community there. You can also subscribe for free and just see what you can see, but the majority of the content requires that $5 per month. So have a look at that, and I can't wait to see you there so you can have a private conversation with me. Let's see Brandon Herrera's testimony against the ATF. I'm really interested in this.
How the hell can repealing a ban on something require a literal act of Congress, yet the ban itself did not require a bill to go before Congress in the first place? Hello, Florida. I am currently in you. Anyway,
I love Florida as a state.
I was invited to come down to Pensacola, Florida by the invitation of Congressman Matt Gaetz and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene to give a statement testifying against the ATF. And anytime you give me an opportunity to poke at the ATF, I'm going to take it. So what we're here for today is an ATF oversight field hearing. This was put together by Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who you might recognize as the congressman who introduced the Abolish the ATF Act. Also joining us in this field hearing is Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia, who's another supporter of the bill. They asked me to prepare a statement and give my testimony before the hearing, which I'm happy to do.
We're also joined by Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera is a Texas entrepreneur, a small business owner, and a Second Amendment activist. He owns AKG Inc., most well known as the man behind one of the biggest firearm channels on the internet, averaging over 140 million views per year, boasting over 2.7 million followers on YouTube. And we're eager to receive your testimony today, Mr. Herrera.
First off, I'd like to thank you, Congressman Gaetz and Congresswoman Greene, for allowing me a platform to speak about the ATF. It is one of my favorite topics. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms was formed about 50 years ago in 1972. It wasn't originally intended to be a law enforcement, or for that matter, a law interpretation agency of the federal government. Believe it or not, it was founded as a split off from the Treasury Department. It was formed as a sort of accounting division tasked with processing taxes paid on exactly what the name says, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
I was not aware of that, so it's actually more for purposes of taxation than anything else. It wasn't really to enforce the law.
Particularly taxes for compliance with things like the 1968.
Well, not enforce the law, but create the law. The ATF creates now laws on firearms, etc.
Gun Control Act, and eventually the National Firearms Act. Much like many other divisions of the federal government, it did not take long for the ATF to grow and operate well past its original purpose. Less than 20 years after it was founded, we had the Ruby Ridge standoff with armed members of the ATF and FBI in 1990, followed closely by the Waco siege in 1993, both of which resulted in high-profile civilian casualties by the ATF. This was a high watermark for the ATF in terms of being like a violent task force of sorts, as it was quickly determined that their actions were not only morally and legally questionable, but also a bad look for public perception. This was not the end of the expansion of the ATF's duties, however. The modern tactic that the ATF is exercising is expanding definitions of previously passed laws to include new things not covered in said laws. You see, the ATF is not a legislative body. It is not Congress, and it cannot make new laws. But in changing or expanding definition of laws already passed by Congress, they're essentially legislating. You see, even though Congress recently tried to reverse the ATF's ban on stabilizing pistol braces, a bill that failed, the ATF did not need any such bill to implement the ban on them in the first place. They simply made a decision to redefine them as SBRs, or short-barreled rifles, and therefore regulated by the NFA, violations of which are punishable by 10 years in prison. How the hell can repealing a ban on something require a literal act of Congress, yet the ban itself did not require a bill to go before Congress in the first place? Another way the ATF has been expanding its authority is by targeting legal federal firearms license holders, or FFLs, such as gun stores, gun manufacturers, and so on. Now, the ATF is permitted to perform audits on FFLs to ensure compliance. They supposedly want to make sure that the FFL holder is not violating the law and is keeping the...
Sorry, I'm not reacting so much here, but I'm deeply interested in what he's saying. This is actually, it's so true. So, obviously, they reclassified anything with a pistol brace, which, obviously, let's be real. Everyone was shouldering it, yes. But they reclassified it as a SBR, which means you have to file the paperwork, and if you don't file the paperwork or remove the brace, you're in breach of the ATF law. You're in breach of firearms laws, which means essentially, it's 10 years in prison, and I think up to $250,000 fine. $250,000 fine, just to be exact. Sorry, just to be precise. How is it possible that was done without an act of Congress, without a bill having to be passed through Congress? But to repeal that requires a bill, requires an act of Congress. That's ridiculous. That's criminal. He's totally right. I like the fact that his persona on YouTube is very funny and just a normal guy, but he seems to be very intelligent. He's done his research on this. He knows what he's talking about, like a lot of firearms owners do. I'm very interested in what he's saying. Sorry, that I might not be stopping and reacting so much, but I'm really, really interested in what he's saying here.
Paperwork. However, in the past few years, this has been weaponized against FFLs and the gun industry as a whole as a way of shutting down otherwise legally compliant FFLs. What was originally intended to be a measure to stop rogue gun dealers from operating outside of the law has now, under the Biden administration, become a tool for federal agents at the request of their superiors in D.C. to shut down gun stores and manufacturers for simple clerical errors in paperwork. Rates of FFL revocation are up drastically, as Biden's new zero-tolerance rule has caused many innocent gun stores to close, guilty of only minor paperwork errors on forms attempting to comply with the law, as we've heard here today. I'm personally also an FFL, and I have little doubt that because I'm here willing to talk to you about this publicly, I can expect my audit to be coming shortly. But as FFLs, we shouldn't have to be worried about taking political stances against the ATF for fear of targeted backlash. As gun owners, we shouldn't have to worry about new gun laws who have the ability to turn law-abiding citizens into felons, especially without an act of Congress.
And that's the point that he makes, is a very good point. You can, these laws will turn someone who's law-abiding on Monday into a criminal on Tuesday. And that's ridiculous.
That is why the ATF has to be reined in from the top, not only for the sake of gun owners across the country, but also to set a precedent and remind other government entities that they are not allowed to play by their own rules. Thank you for having me here today, and thank you for all the work that you're both doing to stop this weaponization, and we're happy to take questions. So I had to put her on the spot, asked who had better hair, me or Matt?
Well, and I said he has better hair because also he has the beard and it's longer in the back.
I think Matt would look good with a beard.
Yeah, he should grow one. Ginger would like it.
There you go. That's the important part, right?
Mr. Herrera, you speak to a very broad audience. How are young Americans reacting to these calls to raise the age beyond 18 to be able to purchase firearms?
You see it a lot every day. I get messages or comments or things from people who are, just entering the funnel of being interested in the Second Amendment and gun culture and things. So whether it's movies like John Wick or video games or whatever, they're getting interested in firearms, which is, the entrance to the funnel to understanding more about the Second Amendment, the Constitution, everything. But they're worried, they're concerned. Let's say they're 15, 16, and they just want to get a shotgun or a rifle when they turn 18. That in those years between now and then, they won't be able to. And I know Florida has passed that law that you guys are working on repealing that takes away gun rights for those under 21. We do not have that in Texas, and I'm from San Antonio, so Military City, USA, you see it all the time because there's a very heavy Air Force presence there. You go to gun stores all across that city, and there's 18, 19, 20-year-old Air Force members that are in there, and they're excited, and they're buying firearms, and it's not pandemonium. There's really no problem with it. So the fact that
that's what I'm saying. People who like firearms and treat them with respect tend to be the sanest or the most reasonable people you can meet.
It was passed in Florida as a travesty, and the fact that they're trying to pass it nationwide is insane. I do have to tell you this, though. I put Congresswoman Green on the spot as to which one of us had better hair.
Oh my gosh. Well,
What do you think she said?
Yours.
Yeah, she threw you under the bus, I'm afraid.
I can take it. I can take it. Look, I'm happy to just have the best hair in Congress.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know.
For now. Well, we said we both agreed you should grow a beard too.
I'm hoping to hit puberty one of these days.
It'll come, don't worry. Somebody from your office reached out and just asked us if we wouldn't mind coming down and dunking on the ATF a little bit.
Well, what I know is that you've got such an active follower base, and we've got to convert that enthusiasm that people feel online to actual policy reforms. Our effort and our mission is to take the evidence that we're collecting from folks like you, from firearms licensees, from state lawmakers, and use that to actually force change in Washington.
As somebody who's in the fight in the trenches against the ATF, what is something that they can be doing that would be beneficial for you guys to give you guys the ammunition you need to be able to carry that fight to them?
We need evidence, right? When we conduct investigations, oftentimes in a Congress where we've got a 4-seat majority of Republicans, we've got to really hit them over the head with the abuse of power, with the hypocrisy, with the standards that seem to be so subjective that they function as setups to people. So if folks are out there watching and they have evidence of these abuses of power, of a standard that's being misapplied, if you've got that evidence, we need it because we need to use it as a persuasive tool to get more folks on our side.
Absolutely. And where do they send that in?
Gates.house.gov is our website, and actually some of the evidence that came through that portal, we were able to specifically use questioning the ATF director, setting up for our legislation to defund his salary.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a fantastic way to go about it, and I'm all on board for you and Ms. Green's attempts to end the ATF, because, you know, the ATF is bullshit. But
Thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate
Thanks
it,
for
man.
providing testimony.
thank you. Once again, I appreciate the opportunity to be allowed to speak today, but more importantly, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and maybe, just maybe, it inspired you guys to maybe get a little bit more politically active yourselves. Because at the end of the day, the only person that you can count on to preserve...
I'm jealous. But I was in Florida just 2 weeks ago. I'm so jealous. I'd love to be there. Get me out of this city and get me back to Florida. Oh, man.
Fight for your natural rights is yourself. And with that in mind, the work part of my day is done. So, time to go enjoy Florida. And I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks.
Something incredible about being by the water, isn't there? Oh, man. That was a good video. Very informative. And I believe it's actually quite a, very important thing to... I mean, the ATF seems to be... I don't know too much about the ATF, but it seems to be really overstepping the mark. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I would like to know your opinions. That's all I can really say on that matter. Let me know your opinions. I'd like to get your opinions. We can have a conversation down below. We can have a conversation over on Patreon if you click the link and subscribe to the channel for just $5 per month. But have a great day, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget, if you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything new. And I'll see you on the next video.